You made it! Alright, so here's the dealio. This next clip you're going to hear doesn't have any video. So it's going to be a title screen. You can close your eyes and enjoy the story that's happening, or you can stare at the screen and then go subscribe to us on all of our podcasting areas and also this channel. Or don't. We don't really fucking care. But if you do, it would mean so much to us.
Thank you so much. I would really, really appreciate if you listen to...
I'm rambling on. Thanks for listening to the podcast.
This past weekend, Tom and the family took an impromptu trip to Florida.
Yeah.
And it looks like a little bit of rain didn't keep them from having a good time. However, on the way back to Tennessee, Tom's daughter had to use the restroom and inadvertently stepped foot inside of a crime scene in a gas station bathroom in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, I don't want to give away any of the goodness of this, so Tom, I'm just going to let you explain how this little family weekend getaway turned into an episode of CSI Kids Edition.
Ooh.
Okay, well, first off, I want to
I'd
say
watch
that
that.
this trip was for the listeners. We were supposed to record this weekend, but apparently the rest of the podcast group, you guys can send your complaints to at Bullshit Nate, at Bullshit Trey, at Bullshit Whisker.
Hey, I was ready to record. It's these two assholes.
And-
Don't loop me in with this.
And I was going to surprise them whilst I was in Florida. Like, I literally, I was like, hey.
Did you say whilst?
Whilst and Fisk. And,
Whilst Smith.
And we
end this?
we
He's the
ended
British
up
version.
leaving at 9 p.m. just to get there, like, right as we were, like, pulling into Orlando as you guys called me. But it's all right. We can just move past
I feel like
that.
your kids probably hate the fact that you do a podcast. Like, Daddy, we just want to go to bed. Wake up, we're going to Florida.
Only Orlando. So you just decide to pack your kids up and your wife and go to Florida? Is this similar to your trip to New York to get a piece of pizza?
It was. It was
Okay.
very reminiscent, but Kate was so on board with this, and we actually ended up just riding the free, like the public transportation around Disney, and the kids were having a blast. So win-win.
Nice.
We didn't get
That's
tickets.
awesome.
We didn't get tickets to the parks, but anyways, yeah. So I'm a big stickler for using the restrooms. Like, I tell everyone, all right, every time we see a rest area, like, let's stop there. I mean, rest areas they're very clean. Like, nowadays, especially between, like, at least our drive between Nashville to Florida, like, they got that rest stop game is on point. We just happened to pass our last one, and after we had, told Avery, our daughter, to, do you have to use the restroom? And she's like, no. So she was just playing with the iPad. We start, getting about 20 minutes outside of Atlanta. She's whispering to Kate, because she knows Daddy already asked, and she doesn't want to upset me. And she,
I like that you rule your kids in fear. That's good.
Yes.
No, she knows
Smart.
that I get upset especially when we're coming around major cities. I hate using, like, on the outskirts of major cities. Like, if you got to pull into, like, a McDonald's or Wendy's or any fucking restaurant because there's no more rest stops, they are the dirtiest piles of shit. I mean, Whisker and Nate, Kate doesn't understand road trip bathrooms, but you two should understand what men's rooms look like.
Oh, they're awful. I put on I wear like the Patrick Bateman outfit, or I like the Walter White slicker that he uses to make blue meth. Like, I just put that on before I use the bathroom. It's just disgusting.
I usually just pull over and piss in the road.
Yeah, that's a good
I don't even
call,
go to
too.
the. I don't even look for a rest stop.
Well, and we didn't bring the RV, so usually in our RV we're able just to, like, go while we're driving. Everyone can just walk back there. So my mistake for not getting the RV prep that day. So we pull over. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Cleveland Avenue. It's in the south of Atlanta. If you haven't, just Google Cleveland Avenue and see what news has
Sounds
popped
like a
up in the
sex
last
position.
3 weeks.
Hi, Peter.
Hi, Peter.
The gas station that we went to had probably 2 weeks ago had a drive-by shooting.
Cool.
And three people were killed.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Yeah, and I told Kate, I'm like, Kate, when we're pulling over, I'm like, we can't go. And Avery's in the back screaming, like, I gotta go now. And I'm like, reluctantly, like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do it really quick. Super Bowl's going on. There shouldn't be many people out. And here's the deal: like, we pull up off of the exit, and the gas station's right there. And it said that there was a McDonald's, like, right like 0.2 miles down the road, and I was like, okay, let's just go to the McDonald's because this gas station looks shady as fuck. There's like 6 people standing outside. 5 of them are crackheads. One of them's probably just like a low-level drug dealer.
What?
I see.
What constitutes a
my
low
God.
level? Like, how do you know it's low level?
I'll tell you in a minute. So we start driving down the road. We don't see this fucking McDonald's because it was burnt down.
Cool.
So we
Makes
just drove
sense.
past it, not even knowing that was a McDonald's. And I was like, as we like were going down this road for about 30 seconds, 40 seconds, I was like, Kate, we got to turn the fuck around. I'm driving. And she's like, well, okay, let's turn around. Let's turn around. Like, she's starting to hear the panic in my voice. I am not one to spook easily, but this is one of the streets that, like, if you go to Reddit and like search like the worst towns and streets and places in the country, Cleveland Avenue pops up as like one of the top 5, right? And you guys are actually closest to like the number 1, which is all of Gary, Indiana.
Yeah,
Gary,
fun times in Gary.
Oh,
Gary,
God.
Indiana is a terrible place.
Terrible.
Yeah, I googled it. There are a ton of shootings in
Yeah.
this area.
Yeah,
Family vacay.
Kate actually did a trip.
Pack up, we're leaving.
Kate did a trip through Gary, Indiana one night at 7 p.m. in the winter, and she took the wrong exit, and she just she said she ran like 5 lights getting back to the highway. Yeah. Anyway, so we get down here. I do flip a quick U-ey. I like run over a curve. The bottom of the car bottoms out, and Kate's like, "You've just hit the bottom of the car." I'm like, "I don't fucking care. We gotta get out. We gotta get closer to the goddamn highway." So we turn around. We pull up to this gas station, and as I had suspected, it is 5 crackheads and 1 low-level street thug drug dealer. And I know this because he immediately went and put his hands into his pockets as I pulled up, as if I was some cop. Luckily,
Oh, no.
I look like me, and I was wearing my stoner hoodie.
So he thought you were a client.
Yeah, he thought I was like, no, he did not think I was a client. He thought I was pulling up. We have a bright green Jeep. So I pulled up in this. We couldn't have been the whitest looking family in America pulling up to this.
Oh, hi, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the folks from Gone Homestead, and that's that thirst trap, dude.
Jumps out in his sweatpants.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
That's the guy with the badunkadunk.
Oh, hey, you know that my goats are pregnant up on the farm there, huh? You want to come see them? What the fuck does that mean?
Did he lick his fingers? He's like, I'd recognize that ass anywhere.
So I instantly get out, and the first thing that I told Kate, like before, like as we're pulling up, I'm like, as soon as I get out, I'm gonna grab Avery, lock the fucking doors, and she's like, okay, and she's like, everything's good, everything's gonna be okay. She's like, don't scare the kids, everything's good. And I'm like, all right, good. And I'm like looking at her like, you're fucking stupid. Next time, just let the kid piss in their pants.
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, sorry, buddy, you got to just go. We'll clean up later.
Well, she told me, she's like, you know what? After we left, like, so we obviously made it out of there, but she's like, maybe we're gonna get like we're gonna start carrying some diapers on the road, and we're just gonna call them the Cleveland Avs. So like, if someone's gotta like take a piss while we're driving, we'll just say, oh, just do a Cleveland Ave. So,
I like it.
I take Avery, I pick her up, and like as soon as I'm walking up, like this crackette? Is it a woman?
Crackette?
No, it's a
That's a
it's
female crackhead. It's a female crackhead.
Yes.
I just call him all cracky.
So
Cracky's fine.
this crackhead, he comes up and he's like, "Oh, hey, brother," and I'm like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" You know, as I got my white daughter,
Do you have
and
any socks?
I'm now holding her in a football hold, so I've got my hand on her shoulder and her ass is sitting on my elbow. I'm like walking like she's sideways. This crackhead opens the door for me and she's like, "Oh, here you go, Missa. Thanks. Like, that's really
God.
nice. That's really nice of you." And I go in and I look at the, I don't know if you've ever been to like a really bad neighborhood, but like, they have the chain link fences all over the place, like in front of the store. And then
Just like empty alleys and like tires sitting around.
and then the guy behind the register looks like he's like guarding Fort Knox and has like bulletproof glass and like a little slip that you pay him through.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that
sound just like Chicago, essentially.
Yeah.
So
it's
that
everywhere in
Indian
Chicago.
guy,
Sounds safe.
so I like look over to him and he's got the widest fucking eyes, and he's just like looking at me like, "What are you doing here?" And you know, with your blonde hair, blue eyed daughter, and I'm like, y'all have a bathroom?" And he's like, "Yeah, right around the corner." Before
You
I
want to
get
die today, sir?
before I get 10 feet from this place, I smell this immense amount of bleach. And we get into we open the door, and mind you, this door has duct tape all around the handle duct tape around the locks. And the reason for this...
That's not going to keep anybody out.
It makes it waterproof.
I don't know if anybody knows that. It's not going to keep people out.
No. It doesn't keep people out. It keeps people from locking the door and shooting up in there. And shooting up like their heroin. All the crackheads out there. It stops them from doing all their crack in the bathroom, or at least or at least the police, from what I understand.
Get out of here, cracky.
The police, from what I understand, and the reason that it smelled like bleach and there was bleach everywhere, like the whole place was wet in there, is because a half hour prior, someone had been murdered in that fucking bathroom. So
nice.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if you've ever like.
It's almost like the cops come there for a murder and they're like, we'll be out of here in 20 minutes.
Yes.
Sprinkle some bleach on it. Let's get the hell out of here.
Get the hell out of here.
It happened
Get the murder mop.
It happened so fast. There's so much murders happen in this area that they do just come and they're like, what happened here? And everyone's like, oh, he got stabbed or he got shot. I don't know what the murder was, but I know it was a murder because there was still droplets of blood on the fucking wall. And there was the bleach in the bottom of the corner of the toilet, like pooling around the toilet, was red. And, it was pink looking.
Awesome.
And Avery's,
Did you take pictures? Did you take family photos?
No, I unfortunately did. I did
you
not.
and Avery take a selfie.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
Best vacation ever.
Crackhead toilet. And
Daddy took me to the Jackson Pollock Museum.
Well,
Come on, Avery, make cracky face.
after I basically ripped the entire toilet paper roll off of the thing to like let her, I'm like, I threw it on the toilet seat and then I'm holding her, hovering her, because I'm like, you're not sitting down on this. She pees and she's like,
there's HIV in that blood, guaranteed.
she's like, oh, look at, someone spilled their paint on the wall. And I said, yeah, they must have been doing crafts. That's why it smells like fucking bleach.
Wait, did you say crack or crafts?
I thought you said crack.
Crafts.
Sweetie, that's where the people do their crack, and sometimes they die.
See, if you were smart, Tom, when you first walked in with your daughter, you should have asked the guy behind the counter, can I go shoot up in the bathroom? That's what you should have said.
Which bathroom has there not been a crime of passion in?
So Avery's like, all right, let me wash my hands. I'm like, don't touch anything. Let's just go inside. We got the hand sanitizer in the car. But as I'm holding her, hovering her, I'm like, the thing is, as soon as we pulled up to this as soon as we get off this exit, my adrenaline kicked in. And like when you guys like get a rush of adrenaline, time slows down, so a minute feels like 5 minutes.
You were in bullet time.
It was, it honestly was bullet time. Or you guys have seen what's it called? Wanted. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's when your heart rate. Yeah. It was that, because we were there for probably 2 minutes and 40 seconds, but it felt like 17-20 minutes. And because I asked Kate the same thing, I'm like, how long was that? And she was like 20 minutes. At least. And I was like, nope, it was 2.5.
You should have tried to take a piss and see if you could have bent it like in Wanted.
Oh my gosh. So as I'm hovering her, the fucking, like, I'm on edge already. The fucking door opens up and I'm like,
oh, no.
Like I had already looked at everything that I could use as a weapon. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm using the plunger, and I was gonna like stand Avery up and like stab someone with a plunger.
With a plunger. I'll fucking kill you, man.
Plunger in the throat.
I'll fucking kill you.
I had
Suck
to
your
get
eyes out.
I had to get because it was a point. Like I was gonna use the pointy end, and I was thinking like I could John Wick this and like shove it down someone's throat and like just twist their head.
That's
like,
what they call it, wicking it. Yes.
So just be like, Avery, look into the corner. Daddy's
Sounds like
working.
A sex move.
Wicking it.
Yeah.
Look at the paintings on the wall.
Where you swallow the whole candle and all you can see is the wick.
Wicking it. Nice.
But so that happens, but the guy's like, he was really nice. He was another crackhead that was super nice, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I was just cleaning the bathroom. So like what I imagine
there
is
was a murder here earlier.
I imagine this Indian guy, the teller, he offered this crackhead like maybe a pack of smokes or something to clean the murder up.
Sounds about right.
Oh my God.
And
they probably thought you were doing terrible things in there to that girl. That's probably they were checking on you.
Murder mop does whatever a murder mop does. Cleans the blood.
Fucked up scenario, man. Jeez.
So now I'm profusely sweating now, like, cause this freaking like these hippie hoodies are so goddamn sweaty.
This is your new diet.
Yeah, just go take your kids pee in
this
like
is how you
crime
lose weight.
scenes.
We'll just drop you off on Cleveland Ave for an hour.
What are you doing? Hot yoga? No. More like hot pissing and murder scenes.
It's the Cleveland Ave detox. You just go in there for 3 minutes.
Perfect. Nice.
So but I actually ended up up looking at, because like the Apple Watch like tracks your heart rate and stuff. I actually ended up looking at my heart rate, and I was like peaking at 160 beats a minute, like within those 2 minutes. So
don't you carry? Don't you have concealed carry? Why weren't you strapped? I would have been strapped. in there in a heartbeat.
So I did think of this. If they saw a gun on me, I feel like that low-level employee would have thought that I was a threat, and it could have escalated the situation.
Possibly.
But the thing is, I do know that there is stand your ground law in Georgia and the sweet state of Tennessee that I live in, and Texas, and a couple other ones. Unfortunately, you guys up in Illinois do not have that. And if you had someone break into your house and you attack them and you didn't have probable cause to full on murder them, they could actually sue you and win.
Oh. Can't sue me when you're dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'll make sure you're dead.
So here's the deal, like, you know, in these moments, your adrenaline's spiking and you're looking around. So the crackhead holds the door again for me, and then she's like, "Excuse me, missa," and makes me turn around with Avery, because I'm not going to be rude with, 5 crackheads around me. She's like, "Can I get 30?
I think they're used to it.
She said, "Can I get 30 cents? You know what? I'm so sorry. I don't have any cash on me because I'm a baller and I roll with credit cards." And
I'll give you this gold chain instead.
Can I have one of your shoes, mister?
Did you give her your stoner hoodie?
But as this was happening, though, a car pulls up, with... It was a lowrider car. It had fucking gigantic rims on, and it was the main drug dealer, his hired hand, and the hired hand walked up, and they were like looking. I feel like they saw our green ass Jeep at this empty ass gas station, and were like, "What the fuck is going on here?" So they like came up, and I saw out of the corner of my eye the low level guy just be like, he waved his hand like a little, like by his hips, like no. Like a shake no, like nothing's going on, don't worry.
I feel like this is a script you're writing for John Wick 5.
Oh my god,
But instead of suits, he wears stoner hoodies and bandanas.
The thing is, I remember every single thing, except for people's faces, which is a problem.
Oh God.
And
You're
I realized
cop's worst nightmare.
I realized this is also why I love the TV show The Power Rangers, because everyone always wore their colors. But that's besides the point. Because
I imagine all the crackheads were like the cave dwellers in The Descent, just like scurrying around on the walls. And like one of them's like, you feel like a glob of like some liquid fall on your chin, and you look up, it's like drooling from the roof of the gas station.
Like the baby in Train Spotting, just like crawling across the ceiling of the bathroom.
They're making like the clicking noises, like.
As I see this guy to the right, I also noticed that the crackhead that was like, "Oh hey, mister," he is now cleaning my fucking windshield with a dirty towel. And Caitlin's looking at
everywhere.
My
the towel he used to clean up the bathroom. He's just smearing blood on Tom's windshield.
He's putting blood and piss all over my windshield, and Caitlin's giving me the white. Like, I mean, my wife is also blonde haired, blue eyes, and the lightest complexion. Like, she wears like SPF 100, and she's just like staring at me and like, I don't know what to do.
Help me.
So I go up there, and I'm like, the first thing I do is like, I open Avery's back door, and I like shove her in, and frantically, like, I don't even know if I buckled her. I slam the door shut, and I'm like, okay, at least my family is in the locked vehicle now. And the guy's like, "Hey, I just cleaned your windshields. You think I can get?" And Kate's like already like opening my door for me, and she's got like a handful of whatever change we had from the tolls, and she's like, "Just give it to him." And I was like, "Oh yeah, brother, here you go." And like I hand it to him, and like in slow motion as you're handing it to him, and he's like, hands coming out, I drop it before his hand gets there.
No.
And it all like 3 coins fall through his fingers, and it was like I saw these things falling slow motion in the sky, and I like look up at his eyes.
You were still in bullet time.
And then I look over to everyone else, and I see all these crackheads notice this coins falling, and
oh my god!
Before these coins hit the ground, I was already in the car and on the highway. And
Oh,
I was probably going like.
Did you hear gunshots in the background? Like the gas station explodes.
It was fucked up. It was the most fucked up ever. Kate and I didn't say a goddamn word to each other for like all the way through Atlanta. So it was like at least, a half hour till we were way past that. And like then we both like, it was like at the same time we had this sigh of relief. But yeah, so that's
what you should have done from the beginning was you should have went back in to the gas station slowly, calmly, and bought every crackhead a bag of combos.
No.
Everybody loves combos.
Oh, Buffalo Blue Cheese, man. They would have loved you.
I hate
Everybody
combos.
loves combos.
Next time you
except
hate
for Dre.
combos.
Because she's a fucking communist.
If you would have done that the next time you go to that gas station to take a piss, there probably would have been like a graffiti mural of like your face on the side. They're
You
like,
and your drug rug and your bandana cradling Avery.
That's what Kate.
wearing like flower
with, like,
wreaths
the
and
Jesus-
empty bags of
the-
combos as like a memorial to the
bunch of candles out there.
The
and shit.
Jesus halo with the rays coming off of it above his head.
It's our bandana messiah.
And that's one thing that's the first words that came out of Kate's mouth after she sighed was like
Combos?
She said you were wearing a blue bandana.
Oh,
And I was
you
like
dirty crip.
I was like
Tom's a crip.
that didn't even cross my mind, but I was like maybe that's what the like little low wave hand thing was.
Nah, it's just some white guy, man. We're getting.
There's no way that cracker's a crip.
Yeah, I feel like
He's got Birkenstocks on. Are you kidding me?
Dude's wearing flip-flops with socks. It's not a crip.
It's like 25 degrees out. He's wearing flip flops. It's fine. man.
It's funny because around my house I feel like I'm Mexican, but around there I feel like I was the whitest person I'd ever been in my life. It was crazy. So
Nice.
Oh,
yeah, that's
well,
my.
we're glad you're alive.
Thanks.
And
Yeah,
you guys don't
I'm
have the HIV.
actually sweaty again.
Pretty
right
sure your
now,
car does,
telling that story.
Thank you for listening to the Bullshit Podcast. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Bullshit Podcast. And for more nonsense, visit evenmorebullshit.com.